We are well into December, and that makes it the perfect time to take hardwood cuttings from your roses. This is typically done somewhere between November and January. But there is a catch. I am going to show you two ways to do this. But the problem is you won't see any results, which means you won't find out if your cuttings have taken until the spring, and that is going to be at least 2, possibly 3 months, depending on how the winter goes. The catch is that if I wait to show you the results come spring, it's then too late to take your hardwood cuttings, so you kind of missed the opportunity. So the problem with this video is that I'm going to take the cuttings, but you're not going to see the results. It doesn't matter. They are so easy to do. I'm surprised everybody doesn't do them anyway, especially when you consider the cost, oh my flipping goodness, of how much some of these roses are priced at. I'm looking at you, David Austin. So before we start, we need to do a couple of things. We need to find suitable cutting material. Now, rose cuttings are usually quite long. You're looking at somewhere between 9 inches to 12 inches. There's a reason for that. So you need long cuttings, which means you're going to need to find yourself some decent length of stem. So finding a suitable specimen which does have these extended branches is going to be the first thing. Secondly, you'll need to make sure that your secateurs or whatever cutting implements you're using are properly sterilized, which leads me on to the third thing. You need to make sure that whatever rose you are taking your cuttings from, that rose is a healthy specimen. There's no point taking cuttings from plants that are known to have, I don't know, various fungal infections, various bacterial infections, various viruses, because roses are a bit of a magnet for all sorts of pests and diseases. So choose a parent plant that is as healthy as you can possibly find. And like I say, if you're just taking cuttings from one rose, that's fine. Sterilize your blades first. You can either heat sterilize them over a naked flame, or you can get yourself sterilizing solutions such as rubbing alcohol, which you can pick up really from most DIY centers. Wipe that on, leave it for 10 minutes or so, let it do its thing, and then wash it off with some water, because you don't want to be putting whatever bleach or whatever product you're using back onto your plants. So if you're using multiple parent plants for your cuttings, then really best policy is to re-sterilize your blades each time. I know it's a faff and nobody wants to do it, but it is the best policy. So there you go. You want healthy parent plants, you want extending stems, sterilized blades. Good advice. This is the King Charles rose. I'm not sure if that's the exact name of this. There's not a lot of material on it. You're looking for something that is approximately the width of a pencil. This is a bit thin, and you're looking for last season's growth. So we have got last season's growth. Not a lot of it. Trying to get probably a cutting out of this is not very good. And also, it does pick up diseases like no one's business. So I'm not particularly interested in taking cuttings of this, but I have got a better one to choose. However, I do have a rose here, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Got some really long sections of stem, exactly the right thickness. This is going to be really good. Now, I do have leaves on these. That's not a big problem. I just take these off as we go through. So we'll take some cuttings. First of all, we're just going to take a big long section, and then we'll deal with it. So now we have some excellent cutting material, but now I need to make some very specific cuts. Firstly, to ensure that I know which way is up, because the last thing I want to do is plant your cutting material upside down. That's never going to do anything. So how do you know which way up your stem goes? Well, It's really quite simple. So your first cut is going to be a straight cut. You make that cut just below a node. A node is your swollen part of the stem where you've got a dormant bud sat there. So there you go. Right, now your second cut, don't forget you want a length of stem that's somewhere between 9 and 12 inches. So that'll be about here. And let me get a bit closer to you because you want to make it a sloping cut, sloping away from where that bud is and just above that cut. So that angle there, that tells me that way is up. So it's like an arrow pointing up. You've got a flat base, pointed top. That is a perfect rose cutting right there. And I'm going to take some more. So once more, a straight cut just below a node. Take these leaves off, you do not want them on. And then your second cut above a node, slanting away from that bud. There you go, 2 pieces. Maybe get one more out of this. It's a little bit thin, but there you go. If you want to pot up your cuttings, and it's not a bad way to do it, simply because when we look at growing these outside in their final position or in a trench, there is a risk that as these bud out in the spring, that new growth can be taken away by slugs and snails, and if that happens, you've basically lost your cuttings. So it is worth considering potting these up instead and putting this in your greenhouse. Now you need to use a long tom. A long tom is a deep pot. It needs to be quite deep because you're making quite a long cutting. So there you go, long cut in a long pot. You can use either plastic or terracotta. Terracotta would be better, but I don't have one, so plastic. Make sure it is clean and sterilized before use so you don't pass on any fungal pathogens or whatever that could be in that pot still passed on to your cuttings with its fresh cuts, because all these fresh cuts are infection points. Another thing with regards to the pointy cut at the top is because if you get water on it through rain or you watering it, that water can then roll off rather than sit on top, because if it sits on top again, it can allow this top part to rot through. You certainly don't want it rotting past that bud there, because then that bud will fail. So compost. Now I know it's not always possible, but whenever you can, always use a fresh bag of compost purchased from your garden centre or supermarket, simply because they are heat sterilized. That means when you open it up, there's nothing in that compost that can damage your plant. There should be no pathogens, microorganisms. It should be absolutely sterile, which is exactly what you need. Furthermore, oh, hold on a minute. If you're finding this video useful or even just mildly amusing, then don't forget to click the thumbs up, press on that subscription, and if you want to be notified of whenever we release a new video, then click on that notification bell. It helps us more than you know, and it allows us to do stupid visits like this in the future. Anyway, let's continue to find out what old boiled butt has to say. I've got bloody glasses, babe. Too hot, too sunny. It's too lovely. Choose yourself a seed and cutting compost. After all, it is cuttings that you are trying to propagate from. If you haven't got a seed or cutting compost, you can improve a regular multi-purpose compost simply by adding some better drainage, such as perlite, vermiculite, grit, sand, or just typical horticultural grit. Use a ratio of approximately 2/3 compost to 1/3 additional drainage. That will be absolutely perfect. Now that really is all the preparation you need to do, as proven by several centuries of rose propagation in this country. Now, if you are of a nervous disposition and don't quite trust yourself to do a top job, then you can always cover the cut base with either a rooting hormone powder, or in this case a rooting hormone gel. It isn't really necessary, but if it makes you feel better, then by all means do that. Just be aware that if you are using a hormone product, you will need to pre-drill a hole into the compost. Otherwise, when you come to push in your cutting, you're just wiping the gel off, or the hormone off, into the surrounding soil. So pre-drill first, then carefully place in your cutting, trying to keep as much hormone on the cut as best as you can. Water them in and then move to the protection of an unheated greenhouse. Just keep the compost on the moist side and don't allow the compost to dry out. The second technique is to just plant these directly into the ground. All you need to do is slice a little gap into the soil, leverage your spade forward to give you a bit more room. Just simply put those cuttings in place. That's all you need to do. Just heel them in, then give them a good water to finish off. And there you go, two really easy ways to take hardwood cuttings from your roses. And you're probably asking yourself now, if they take so easily from cuttings, why on earth do the producers grow them onto rootstocks using the tea budding technique? Well, there is some good reason for that. I'll explain. Producing roses by tea budding onto an established rootstock does have a number of benefits. The main one is that you can reduce a saleable plant within approximately 18 months from when you made that tea bud. Compare that to producing plants just by taking cuttings. You could be looking at 2 to 3 years before you have a saleable plant. Ornamental cultivars with weak or slow growth can be invigorated by budding them onto a vigorous rootstock. Again, it brings a plant to a saleable size and ready to flower in a very short time period. And thirdly, you can transfer disease resistance from a disease resistant rootstock into the cultivar that you've budded it onto. So there you go, 3 really good reasons as to why the industry tea buds onto rootstocks. So there you go, that is how I take my cuttings, my hardwood cuttings of roses. And if there's anything I've missed or any great tips that you would like to add, you're more than welcome to do so. Just put that in the comments. Anyway, thank you for watching. Did you click the like button? It does help support this channel ever so much. Hopefully, we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I've still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.